Welcome back, everybody, to the Six Major in Atlanta. And guess what? It's the final BO3 of the day, Mandy. Yep, that's right. It's about time we eliminate another team from the Major. It's a sad thing, but we must do it. A lot of teams, 4 teams, only get to play a single day here at the event.
It's a cruel world here in Atlanta. The format is not forgiving whatsoever. Yes, you can fly across the world to have to fly back in the next following day. So unfortunately for one of these teams, that is going to be the case.
But we have been treated, while a lot of the teams have had a struggle, we really have been treated to some phenomenal matches. Lots of upsets today, as you can see on your screens. GK taking a huge win over NIP, who have since stayed alive by taking down Sandbox. 2 Korean teams have already exited the Major, only one remains, and they will be in Phase 2. But of course, here in Group D, it says Group A. I'm pretty sure this one's Group D. Wolves and Bliss went head-to-head. An insane banging game where Bliss managed to steal away a reverse sweep 5 rounds in a row. They go on to the upper bracket final to play against Space Station, who took down fairly convincingly Alpha Atheris. So, of course, we've got the 2 losers now in this upcoming game.
Yeah, all I'm saying is the B stream, bussin'. All right, we've had the bussin' stream. We've had all the upsets on this stream. It's been real good. But the game that we're turning our attention to in Group D is Alpha Atheris taking on Wolves.
Yes.
Big matchup.
It is a very big matchup because nobody expected Wolves to be fighting for their lives on the very first day of the Major. This is the team that was, what, 3rd place in Europe League? Yeah. Insane from a team that also was top 6 at the 6 Invitational at the start of this year. Yeah, they had a roster change. It's been 7 months since these guys picked up Deadshot. On the contrast, Alpha Atheris actually have the most roster changes of any team at this Major. They've only had 3 weeks with Kamikaze, and it's been a struggle, right? We saw it in their game against Space Station. These guys have a long way to go and a grueling BO3 ahead.
Yeah, it's really tough, right? When you only have days to prepare for the Major, your team dynamic completely changes, especially bringing in someone with the experience of Kamikaze, right? Like, how do you inject a player like that into a roster that are still developing and are still learning? I mean, there are some old-timers on the roster, like Toski has been around in the LATAM region for such a long time through the years, playing in those like Tier 2 or even Tier 1 Tier 1 tournaments that don't get broadcasted. But like, there are so many players here that have been in the region for such a long time but just haven't made their name in this Tier 1 scene, and bringing in Kamikaze can be quite a challenging team dynamic to work around.
So let's have a look at this map video. We are playing a BO3, our first BO3 of the tournament thus far, because this is for elimination. So overall, just going to blitzing through it a little bit. Wolves are going to pick Bank. Oregon picked by Alpha Atheris, Night Haven Labs, is where we will settle. So we're actually not seeing any repeats, Mandy, as Wolves earlier lost to Bliss on Chalet, which they then banned. And Alpha Atheris, believe it or not, they lost on Skyscraper, and yet Wolves are still happy to ban it.
Very interesting. I don't know. I actually have no idea how to read into these maps. I feel like Wolves overall should have the upper hand in general against Alpha Atheris. I don't want to read too hard into the veto because I feel like the main thing that we want to push here is that Wolves have been here before. They are by far and away the more experienced team in this matchup. It shouldn't really matter what the maps are. Wolves should generally have the upper hand here.
That's it. Most people, I think, would favor Wolves. Now, 68% is perhaps not as high as I would have expected, Mandy. Remember that Wolves had a 70% social vote against Bliss, and SSG had a 73% social vote against Alpha Atheris. So, a difficult day for this Mexican squad. They have had a rough trot of it to try and win over the social community, but I think people are really looking at this underdog matchup, the David and the Goliath, and saying, look, I just cannot see David hacking it against Wolves Esports. This is a big team. This is a well-known quantity within the Europe region and on these international events as well.
I mean, especially because I think it's Bank is the first map. I've completely forgotten the order of the video already. It is Bank is the first map, isn't it? Wolves have got a pretty good history on Bank thus far. Like, in recent history, they've had some pretty solid results. In comparison, Alpha Atheris haven't played the map through nearly the entire year. I think they've only played it twice, I believe, if we look through the most recent history, the last couple months. And I feel like Wolves, what they've done here in the video is literally just go for maps that are comfort picks for them. Their best ones, what they can bring out in the BO3, and have run away with the veto.
Yeah, and you know what, Wolves also, they won the coin flip, so they got to ban first, which means they get to pick first, so we start on home ground for them. As you said, Bank, really good map for Wolves. They've actually won it 3 times this year. They're on a little bit of a streak at the moment, and in contrast, like you said, after Atheris, they've only played it once this year and they did lose it. That was way back in July, so I'd love to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that things can change, but this is a team that's also had 3 roster changes since then, including Kamikaze right in the middle of your screen. He's given fist pumps. I love that they've sat the sub in the center. He might be just coming in with 3 weeks notice, but he is the king of this team, right? He is the one with the experience. He's a world champion, and they all look to him for his expertise.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, the jump from going from playing in scrims, playing in your local league, to then going and playing at LAN against Wolves, you know, with no ping, is a very different jump. The game plays out differently, and the mental game that you bring into an official is so different to your practice as well. Things that work in scrims don't always translate to your officials, especially when you're playing against a completely different region like EU, like against Wolves. That's where you need the experience of Kamikaze to keep everyone's heads in the game and make sure that they can perform.
That's right. Well, digging into these bans now, we see Alpha Atheris, they get the final ban, and it is Solus, in fact. So a lot more pre-placed drones, a lot more live droning is going to be available here, which I think is pretty important, Mandy, in the absence of that Dokkaebi, which would otherwise be really good and helpful for going for these roam clears. Oh, man, I just love those synchronized card backgrounds there for Wolves.
That's so cool.
So good.
It's actually sick. I feel like all the teams that have had like their background shown off in this tournament so far have been really awesome. Like the Sandbox one. Look, I know Sandbox are out now, but they farmed the card game by putting 2 counts on them.
I think they uncovered the new meta,
They
right? Like
did.
a while ago, there was the anime skin meta.
Yes, the waifu meta.
Yeah, the
Now it's
waifu
gone.
meta, and now we're up to the cat meta. I think Sandbox have really pioneered something there.
Oh, that's funny. Anyway, we're going to head down to the basement. And like you've pointed out already, Solus has been taken off the board by Alpha Atheris, right? And so there is a possibility for Wolves to be able to actually put some pre-placed drones inside of the building and enable themselves to roam clear pretty quick. They've even got the Lion on the hands of Deadshot as well to expedite that process through the map.
10 seconds left.
It does seem to be a little bit of a roam game, if I'm not wrong. I like this Valkyrie pick, though. Yeah, so as you can see, the open area hatch has been pre-opened. There's some reinforcers expended on the elevator hallway towards Loan Office. Ivan is here in the top floor. Still one Valkyrie camera in pocket. Legion Mines as well will give off a sort of passive information to the defense as well. The question remains, how will Wolves deal with this? We saw earlier today, Mandy, in their game against Bliss, a massive adaptability and an interest in getting information before committing to a push.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. With the double special drone squad as well, both Mowgli and Bibu, they're going to be on those drones through that mid-round. It's going to take time for them to actually be on those drones, get the finesse done of actually clearing out some of those utility, either on the bomb side or even aiding some of the roam. It does look like they're immediately turning their attention in towards Dirt Tunnel. That's what Mowgli's trying to do. But meanwhile, Bibu has found the first pick somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a very early one. I'm not sure exactly what went down there. Hask was the star player for Alpha Atheris by far against Space Station. He's already gone down here. Mowgli's got tons of information here in server. Managed to keep his drone alive for quite a long time as well. Kamikaze eventually takes it down and expends his second gas babe on keeping that player at bay. I just want to note for a second, I love the fact that Kamikaze is running the NIP skin on his SMG-11, a nod to his former team.
All right, here we go. Ivan, he's got info on the player outside on the balcony. Yellow pings do ring out, and he's actually going to commit to the jump out for it, but doesn't land the shots. Deadshot to claim the second one in the round for Wolves.
A very good read there from Deadshot, and Wolves are incredibly competent at suppressing aggression. They're so comfortable at just sitting back and waiting when they have the advantage on the attacking side. As we can see right now, 5v3. Alpha Atheris are wondering what's next. What is the next move? Do we have to get aggressive? Wolves seem to be ready for it.
Well, a tough spot at the moment for Alpha Atheris is I believe they've double shotguns on the board now. It's Toski and Kamikaze that have got shotgun and, well, an SMG-11. But that does mean they're going to look for more of those close quarters gunfights rather than being able to retake up the stairs, play the aggression, whatever. That was what Ivan was trying to do. These last couple players don't quite have that same capability. So what they can do now is just rely on these power positions, see how much they can get done. But with Wolves with a pretty heavy man advantage, surely there's enough redundancy to push into it.
Wolves are being quite slow about it, but I think it's about the thoroughness that they're focusing for. They might not have a lot of time to go for a plant, but in the numbers advantage, they should be able to make a flood execute work.
And here they go. With only 25 seconds left, it does seem like it's going to be a lobby-sided take down the main stairs. But is that the mistake? Toski is on the other side with a shotgun at the bottom of the stairs. There's only 19 seconds left to go, and here goes Jay.
Jay. He does get traded on back, though. It's all up to Kamikaze now. 1v4, Mandy. It's not going to be easy. He might be a world champion of the past, but we're talking about today. He does find Mowgli eventually, finishing him off, but he is trapped out of the bomb site thanks to those Vulcan canisters. Deadshot to force that plant down. Kamikaze must take these 1v1s, but it's a long time to wait out the fire as the diffuser has been confirmed, and 3 players stand between Kamikaze and the retake. Once again, shoulder peeking for information. He is not allowed anything. Bibu closes out the final kill. With a bit of height, Wolves will take the opening round.
Yeah, and that's the Wolves' MO, isn't it? Wolves, they are that execute team. They really lean into the late game and play it to perfection on the attack. That is what they do best by far and away. They're just such a coordinated team. They manage to do things so simultaneously together on every single execute that they plan out. They just dial it back a little bit, get all your drones in. They have a lot of them in that round. And like you pointed out super early, their planning phase is immaculate.
Very much so. They love to continue measuring the situation before they commit to anything. And when they commit, oh boy, did they go for it. All players all together. That's what Wolves are so phenomenal at. I got to say, we've been really treated. Casting 2 Wolves games today,
yeah,
they're just such a phenomenal team to watch. I really enjoy their play style.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for me, if you're watching the broadcast right now, like you're an amateur team, you're trying to learn, Wolves are one of the teams to watch, in my opinion. Like, yes, you've got your BDS, actually the other French team, another really great team to like watch and learn from, because the way that they play the game is so translatable, because it just makes so much sense, right? Like, you watch what they're doing and they're like, and you're like, yeah, you know, that's exactly why they're doing the things that they do. That's why they play the pacing of the game that they do. It just seems so methodical and well thought out, right? And I think that's the joy in watching this team.
Alpha Atheris need to clue into this playstyle from the Wolves, though. Now, Alpha Atheris, as we said, a lot of roster changes on this team. And, well, of course, being from Latin America, being from the LATAM League, they're not really used to the level of competition that Wolves are over in EU. But, like we've said, they've got Kamikaze on the squad now. And these guys are here for a reason. They have high potential. They also had a very challenging group. They played against Space Station, now they're playing against Wolves. It really does not get much easier from that for one of the greenest teams at this event.
Here goes Wolves at their approach into the building. The bomb site is going to be the top floor, and once again, pretty conventional a setup, I think, from Alpha Atheris, just leaning into that castle, making sure Lounge is safe from the repels, yada-da. But on the side of Wolves, they do have enough explosives to actually deal with that setup. Not only do they have the Zofia, but they even have the Ash on Bibu as well for even more redundancy in explosives. That setup inside of Lounge is probably going to be taken out. We can actually see Bibu all the way over on the parking repel. He's going to be able to use his Ash charges to really cut down on this defense, and in fact, he finds the kill into Banana.
A great start, and the kills continue going back and forth. Mowgli has snuck his way onto the balcony here, and so close to the site. Deadshot times his push perfectly for 2. All up to Jay, and another 1v4 for Alpha Atheris. He hears information on the back of that goo mine detonating, and he rounds the corner to see Deadshot, but cannot land the killing shot. As this plant is about to go down, he will not even find a single kill. And a good second round there for Wolves on the back of the Swiss player on that far left-hand side. Deadshot having a phenomenal round, and Wolves continuing their dominance.
Yeah, smooth shooting there from Deadshot on his own 3K coming in through top square. Timed perfectly. I think that was the main thing, right? Wolves, they're so good at doing things together, right? And that is the joy in watching them, like we've been saying, and I think, yeah, Deadshot has just been such a good addition, I think, to the Wolves. He's been super consistent in his games. Like, you don't always think of Deadshot as like, wow, the superstar player of Wolves or anything like that, but when he's there, when he's shooting, he shoots straight. You know, he shoots really well, and every game he's consistent.
Very much so. It's P4 who we talked about so much in the Bliss game, though. It was such a crazy thing to see him exceeding everyone else on his team for the majority of that game. And as far as I'm aware, P4 is still that in-game leader. I think I'm going to have a chat to them after today to just get the most up-to-date, because obviously these days in Siege, the meta is a lot more complicated. It's not the good old times of, oh yeah, you've got your one hard support and you got this. No, it's not that simple anymore. But P4 is definitely an important voice on this team, and I love to see him frag out as well when he does, and I'd love to see a little bit more of that in this match. Early days, of course, for Wolves, 2-0 on the attacking side. But we did see they did flourish a lot more on their attack than their defense on Chalet. Could be the same story here on Bank.
And that's certainly right. They're actually going to change their bomb site completely, Alpha Atheris. They're not going to repeat any of the primary bomb sites and going to send themselves over into Staff Room and Open Area instead. Bibu getting those clutch drones in pretty early on, wondering what's going on inside of bottom square, seeing if they can get any early control into the bomb site. That seems to be the Wolves' MO of the day at the moment. How far into the bomb site can they get without the defense noticing, well, it seems like they're ready for it this time around.
Special drone squad, roll out. Bibu's tempted to get some information on the site. If he could hack some of these Valkyrie cameras now, that would be something. Another special drone. I know how much you love these Brothers and Flores picks.
So cool.
Oh, Bibu's spotted though, and he does lose that drone.
It just goes so fast, you know? Like the clutch drones are like big and chunky, but it's like, I want to go through the map. Anyway, I love clutch drones. They're awesome. Anyway, it does look like they are looking to hit the bomb site regardless, right? They've sent in all that info. They've seen what's going on there. They've even sent Rotero drones in to try and clear some stuff. Oh, and there they go on in. But Kamikaze and Jay will double down to take them down on the bomb site.
Now here we go. Finally an opening as Bibu finds his 5th kill of the game. It's up to him and Deadshot to land the final 3 kills. Jay takes down Bibu's only remaining teammate. Ooh. He might not know it, but he's just gotten injured. This is very winnable now. 2 kills remain. Jay low HP. Toski opening up an angle to try and support his teammate. This is so close. Okay, he knows it's now a 1v2. A smoke to go out and try and cover him. Oh no, you can't be peeking those, Jay! It's a 1v1 all of a sudden for Bibu, deathless in this match. And all he needs is this final kill, forcing down the plant, protected by the Kiba. Toski will not take the bait. He will wait. And as the smoke goes out, there is a gap. There is an opening that Bibu will not commit. He must at some point. The time is on his side as Toski makes the rotation. Bibu secures the defuse. And now Toski must retake. Bibu spots him for a brief moment, but cannot land the shot until he does. 1v3, and this Frenchman is unkillable.
Yeah, the veteran of the squad, Bibu, we can take them down in 1 versus 3 fashion, showing his experience here in the series, and it's going to put Wolves on 3-0 in their attacking half going into Bank. I mean, what a crazy attack that was. Very explosive in through the midbound. It was scrappy. They threw bodies at the bomb site. It almost looked like it wasn't going to go their way, but Bibu can step up to the plate and claim one back for Wolves.
That was an amazing clutch, Mandy. I feel like that deserved 2 play-by-play casters at the same time. And that's pretty much what we got. I don't know if you guys at home could hear it, but that entire time, I'm trying to concentrate on the goddamn round. And I just hear a lovely Timothy, Ace of Pyrite, on the A stream, yelling about Fury doing this and that.
Something's going down there. I don't know what is going down there.
I actually have, I don't know, can we give a spoiler warning to the stream? Okay, if you don't want to know what's going on the A stream right now, which is the Fury versus... I can't remember. Knights. Fury versus Knights match.
The one.
Okay, spoiler warning, go. It's currently 6-3 in favor of Fury on map 2, which means that they are currently on match point and Knights are staring down elimination point. Now, on both the A stream and the B stream right now, we have 2 Latin American teams trying to survive. If Wolves win this and Fury beat Knights, that's goodbye Latin America on day 1.
No, that's so sad.
Would be devastating, especially after what we saw from teams like teams like Revan in Copenhagen, which of course Revan not very Latin American, but they did play in the Latin American League. They made it a bit further than I think a lot of people had given them credit for initially. And it's exciting to see 2 new, fresh Latin American teams this time around, right? Like, we don't have any overlap with the teams that made Copenhagen. And so I hope at least we get a little bit of contest here from Alpha Atheris.
Oh, I hope so as well. I mean, love the boys over in Fury. You know, SEA represent.
I'm a bit biased.
You know, SEA represent. But, you know, like, damn, both Latin American teams going down, that would be a real shame.
Already happened to Korea, but of course they still have D+ waiting in the wings in Phase 2.
Alright, but we need to turn our attention to this game. This one's still happening at the moment, and Alpha Atheris are going to re-attempt this top floor bomb site. Once again, leaning into holding on as much as they can. Oh, it is the top floor bomb site. They just didn't bring along the castle this time. I think they've read into the fact that Wolves know how to deal with it much better. So instead, they're going to just lean into, the double C4s. Actually, it's not even double C4s. Hask doesn't have one.
I'm surprised there's no Azami, though.
Yeah, me too. It just feels like a very bare-bones strategy. I don't exactly know what Alpha Atheris' plan here is, to be honest. I guess there's a lot of info. You've got the Yokais, you've got the Valks, so they can at least see what Wolves are doing, but the point of resistance doesn't seem to be that much.
This has been pretty good so far, though, from Alpha Atheris. Jay's done a phenomenal job of keeping this Monty at bay. Elsewhere, exchanges go through. P4's in the goddamn site.
How's he here?
How did he get there? I'd love to know. But Alpha Atheris can't dwell on the past. They must look to the future. Deadshot already in sight as well. Hanging out in airlock. But he gets his head clean taken off by Hask, who stepped up. Bibu still undead in this match. 8-0 on the Monty. He must wait for Shinka to come and rotate through. Now there's a player spotted in top square. Will Shinka find it?
Cook this fool. Do it. Oh no, he can't get the line of sight. Oh, he can!
Close.
He's seen him! Alright, there we go, Shinka. Nice one. But he's the only gun left in the server for Wolves. Well, yes, Bibu has a gun, but a small one.
A very
small one. And when you're
pistol.
on the top floor bomb site, it's not so cool to have a small gun because the bomb site's big. Actually, he's in the bomb site, so Shinka, you better get your way on in here.
Yeah, and I think that Alpha Atheris are starting to smell blood in the water. They know that this Monty is alone. They're making sure not to get flanked, but they want to 2v1 this Monty. But they themselves will be taken down. Bibu remains the impossible man. 9 kills, not a single death to his name. 4 rounds in.
Man is immortal in the server at the moment. How on earth were Wolves able to do that? We looked away for 1 second and we looked back and P4 is in the middle of the bomb site. How does that happen? What's going on?
I mean, Deadshot
what is happening?
Bibu will just walk straight up the spiral stairs. I think P4 must have jumped down from the skylight drop. No bloody idea how Deadshot got to Banana, though.
Nah, no way.
Insane stuff from Wolves to see an opportunity and absolutely go for it. And I'm really loving this form from Bibu. This guy is the longest serving pro at Atlanta. He has been playing professionally for 7.5 years, ever since Season 1 of Pro League on Xbox.
Wow. That's a long time ago.
Damn long time, and yet he has never won a championship.
Damn.
He has played at 11 international LAN events, majors, SIs, Pro League finals. Never once has he won one.
Damn. I don't want to see him win something.
I think if there's any players out there that are begging for the opportunity to win something, it's got to be Bibu, Palu. I think are the 2 obvious ones that have never won a championship. And I mean, maybe it won't happen this event. Wolves are in the lower bracket, for goodness sake.
Oh, I forgot about that. I genuinely forgot about that for a moment. This is an elimination match. That is not good. That is not where you want to be if you're Wolves. Or if you're Alpha Atheris, you've got it even worse right now. 0-4 is the scoreline. Now they've just taken their tactical timeout, so they've probably realized, all right, boys, something's going wrong. What is it? And so they're going to try and change a couple things up. They are going to go for a repeat down inside of the basement, but they're not looking to extend out their roam like they did last time. This time, they're closing up the hatch and open. They're going to lean more into playing into that late game, playing the Planter now with the Smoke and the Goyo in tandem. Not just that, but the set of C4, of course, on Ivan to try and play in to that late game and deny the plant.
Yeah, very typical setup on that defensive side. Wow, very early E1D from Deadshot.
Free map control.
Yeah, has enabled 2 players to get here into open area, and I think Alpha Atheris have no choice but to forfeit control.
Yeah, no, Bibu is on a set of pre-place. So you can see him flicking through at the moment. Okay, he just got off at the moment that I said it, but yeah, Bibu was sitting there on pre-place the entire first 30 seconds of the round, just getting his players in straight away. Of course, absence of Solace, that's what you can do with it. Not just that, but Alpha Atheris completely forfeiting the map, so there's no one up there shooting drones or anything like that, right? They got complete map control with 2 minutes left to go. Now it's just about opening up those hatches.
With Kaid banned out, that's going to be a lot easier as well. This is very aggressive, though, from Ivan. Surely he's been droned. I think they know. They must find this kill. No! Deadshot goes down. Mr. Consistent. Oh! P4! He almost gets taken out. Mowgli, thankfully, is there. to help on out and finally finish off Ivan on his reign of terror. But that was a decent amount of damage done. Half of P4's HP gone. And Alpha Atheris looking to get very proactive here. Look at this aggression in server.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's not too bad of a pick, though, I think, for Wolves to have the Lion going down. I think, like you're saying, Alpha Atheris, they are still going to hold on to as much of that basement as they can. Otherwise, it's going to get claustrophobic pretty quick. But on the side of Wolves, losing out your Lion isn't exactly mission critical to the push that they want to do. What matters more in this phase is that Bibu has spent all that mid-round actually clearing out all the Goyo canisters inside of server. So what all the defense were trying to do was play in server, play in the bomb site, try and shoot out the Twitch drones. Oh, they haven't been so successful about that. And that's really going to set up Wolves for that late round execute.
Once again, the idea is not to go for a typical execute. They've got players on both of the lobby hatches. Hask is waiting in the wings with this slug shot. He finds one. The double for Hask. Can the trade come through for Wolves? They desperately need it. 2 players in the deficit, but Mowgli goes down as well. Toski to finish the equation. Alpha Atheris are finally on the scoreboard.
Yeah, well set up there for Alpha Atheris. They didn't get overzealous on that server side of the map, even though so much utility had gone down there. They had the read early on that Wolves are actually going to go in for that lobby-sided drop, and they were so ready for it by the time that they came through. We were on board with Husk. 2 really nice headshots to start everything off, and it just felt like the deal was sealed from there after that. They played such great crossfires in the last couple seconds.
Yeah, good read from Alpha Atheris as well. They said, look, we've seen one of these Wolves executes before. We know where they're going to come from. We're not going to overcommit to server. We know that they are very fond of dropping those backside hatches, and so we will prioritize having Hask over there. And for him to take 2 with him, massive for Alpha. Now moving on. You said it already, we have seen this open area staff room bomb site once before, and it should have been Alpha Atheris' round, but Bibu got a 1v3. You can't account for that. They can revisit this bomb site and say, okay, second time's the charm. Yeah.
Interesting adaptation, though, on the side of Wolves. They're not going to lean into that Brava anymore, but Bibu's instead going to re-pick all the way over to Ossa instead. Not just that, but Deadshot's decided they probably need another gun on the building, and he's going to jump himself on Ash as well. So it does seem like, once again, Wolves are going to lean into that explosive execute early on, try and enable themselves to get into the building, and then get the plant down and play a more objective, focused game.
Well, Wolves haven't done many things wrong so far, so I wouldn't question their judgment on that. Ivan's consistently doing these little cheeky positions, right? The Valkyrie and Electrical last round. Now he's quite aggressive upstairs in airlock, looking to tease any early CEO pressure, which Shinka is suggesting at the moment by shooting down these windows. Ivan's just waiting for a drone to come in and signal the position.
Ooh, he's got to jump out though. No! Oh, he gets shut down. Shingo ready for it with a slither of HP. He can take down the first pick, and Ivan 2 times in a row. His cheeky business doesn't quite work.
Man, but if he had found that kill, it would have been so worth it. That's the hard breach. That's the diffuser. That would have wasted so much time from Wolves. But you just got to land those shots, don't you? And as soon as you miss it, it's a massive missed opportunity, and Wolves are in the driver's seat, no doubt about it.
Here goes Mowgli coming down the main stairs, but there is still a player inside of Banana wrapping around. Now it's Husk just escaping away with his life, but there's a player on the chase right behind him. He's not going to drop the hatch after him, but that means that both these players fall back to safety.
Mowgli's struggling in this game once again. He had a bit of a slow one against Bliss as well. Bibu is more than making up for it. 9-1. Still surviving.
Something's happening.
I think something's happening on the A stream, man, dude.
I think there is as well.
Can we do a quick spoiler, guys? All right, quick spoiler warning. If you don't want to know the result of the other game, cover your ears for a second. Fury have just won.
Let's go!
Fury have survived to day 2. Meanwhile, Hask has said P4 will not survive this round.
Yeah, up the boys anyway.
Up
sorry.
the boys.
Sorry.
I'm excited.
50 seconds, 50 seconds. This is intense now, right? Alpha Atheris, they could win this one out. They have the man advantage. They still have that stronghold on the bomb site. It hasn't been cleared, so Kamikaze's feeling good.
Oh,
but
Bibu.
what is this from Bibu jumping straight on into the bomb site, but taken down?
Oh, come on, Jay. There's another one pushing on in. Shinka finds it, but the trade is once again good. Deadshot, the last player standing for the French, and he's not even French himself. 1v3. Good gun for it. Good operator for it. But here's the swing. Oh, beautiful shot there. Haas goes down. He might catch Kamikaze out of position, but a world champion will not go down without a fight. A second round of defense for Alpha Atheris as they string together 2 in a row. And as the sole Latin American representatives remaining at this event, they will need to do everything they can to survive this onslaught.
Nice one, though, from Alpha Atheris to at least close it out for a second one. Typically, we like to say on Bank, it's a pretty even map, I would argue. Some people say it's more attacker-sided. I think stats actually say it's attacker-sided, if I'm not wrong.
You
can check that. You can check that, yeah. I think the stats do say it's attacker-sided, but I see this as a more even map. So I think for Alpha Atheris to go 2-4, it's not terrible, it's not amazing, but it's workable. The game is not over for them just yet, and if they can keep working on these attacks, it's certainly within the realm of possibility to keep themselves in this series. Wolves, though, they are going to go onto their defending side, and it looks like they're going for a pretty heavy extension over throughout the entire map. Not only is there the mirror to hold on to the bomb site, that's Shinka, the self-sufficient operator, but there are also then roamers going in and extending out through the rest of the floors on the map. I believe they've even got the hatch open inside of open area for the fall-off as well.
Well, as you can see on the screen right now, if Wolves win this game, they are 100% confirmed for SI. Fury have already 100% confirmed themselves now with their victory. Alpha Atheris, unfortunately, their chances of making 6 Invitational, even if they win this match, are still incredibly slim. They will have to have a very deep run in Atlanta to make up for their lacking performance in Stage 1.
Really extended hold gear from Wolves. Not only are they holding onto the ground floor, but they're even extending all the way up into the top floor. That's Bibu, the first point of contest, sitting in the same cheeky corner that Ivan was in. So you would think, oh, and he's even got the window prepped. Perhaps he's thinking of a run out of his own.
Whatever you can do, I can do better, he says.
Yeah, hack the drone.
Okay, dead shot. Mozzie drone tested. Beautiful angle with the commando, no less. No Roni supported. Bibu jumps out, finds that kill. Jay goes down, and another one bites the dust. Dead shot's taken. Toski with him. Kamikaze and Ivan to pick up the pieces in a 2 versus 5 with not a lot to show for it. Ivan gets desperate. He must move on inside. But time is ticking away. Hatch is fortunately pre-opened for him, but there's not much left to do in this round, I don't think.
No, certainly not. Wolves completely gate crashed the party there as they tried to jump their way into the building. They get jumped out on instead, and Kamikaze taking a bit of a duel with Bibu on the other side. Actually, Bibu doesn't really have a way to fall off anymore. He's sort of stuck in this lobby position. But I have a feeling that's not going to give Alpha Atheris much.
No!
Kamikaze even taking out Ivan. He must have thought he was Bibu, the imposter.
Oh, Kamikaze. If that doesn't tell you that these players are shaking, I don't know what does. You pick up a world champion as an emergency substitute and he flick team kills you like that. That has got to hurt.
Oh man, Ivan's probably shaking in his boots, as Stoics would say. That's not cool.
Shaking in his boots. You really wanted to say that, didn't you?
I really did want to say that.
Can you do it in Sam's accent?
No, I can't.
Give it a crack.
No, ain't no way. Not happening.
We'll work on that and we'll come back to it later.
Can you say it in an American accent?
He was shaking in his boots.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
That's not bad.
Thank you.
That's all right for me.
No, the silence was killing me. You just stood there judging me.
I had to make you feel nervous at first.
Yeah,
right?
you do a great job of it.
It's part of the charm. Anyway. Here we go. We're going to go over to the top floor bomber site for Wolves, having successfully defended the basement. Actually, overwhelming success, I would say. And now we're going to go over into the top floor, and they're once again leaning into pretty similar strategy, very much centered in around all these strong anchor operators. You've got the mirror to hold on to these positions inside of the hallway, inside of janitor, and you've got the castle to make sure that the lounge is safe and yada. Not just that, curious pick for me, Bibu on Maestro, sort of out of fashion these days, but seems to have an idea for it.
Yeah, I'm curious what that idea is. Perhaps just some solid information gathering on the site. They don't actually run a lot of bulletproof cameras. They have the castle, so I mean, this is info galore, right? If you count the mirror, that's 1. Then you've got 3 Valkyrie cameras, 2 Evil Eyes from Maestro, and the BPC from Castle. Bibu wants to jump out with the bloody Maestro. With the bloody Maestro!
I mean, I think he's put it on the wrong window, but yeah, he has. I think Jay's put it on a window too close to him.
On that window.
And there are no... Oh, no. Toski's got Claymore, so surely Toski's going to run on over and, like, put the things down. And
I don't see any yet, Mandy.
They'll be good. They'll be good, right? Right?
Nah, Toski's in the building. He's not doing Claymores.
I think he's just stared a black eye in the eye as well.
Really? Okay, so he's
There's
spotted the
another
default.
cam in lobby somewhere.
Where is the Valk cam?
I thought the exit sign was it, and I don't see it. Ooh, that is such a cool Maestro cam.
So
that is awesome.
So this can destroy any utility that's being placed on the Kanto wall to deny a breach there. Very cheeky.
Oh, there we go. He's doing it. Toski's doing the special claymores, so he's safe and sound. This is good. Oh no, that's less good. Mowgli's killed them.
You have a magic way with words, Mandy, but you're not wrong. Mowgli has taken down Hask, and I don't know what's gone on for Alpha Atheris, but they have really struggled so far in this game. They've strung together 2 rounds, but then on the switch to the attacking side, they have struggled massively. Bibu jumps out and somehow survives the Claymores. Dead shot lands a crisp one onto Ivan. Kamikaze down, but not out. Jay, the last player standing against 5 angry wolves. And he's on the roof. He should effectively take a tactical timeout here. He could just wait and talk to his team. They haven't taken a tactical as of yet this game. And after this round, they will be down facing map point on Wolves' map pick.
Wait, how is there a player outside? Sorry, side tangent.
Bibu jumped out the windows.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's still out there. He's still out there. I saw him get a kill, and like, I don't know how he dodged the claymore.
Yeah,
like
that's
maybe
what
it was,
I was wondering.
maybe it was
How?
poorly placed, or maybe he shot it, and then maybe it's a Giga Chad like that.
Right. This is fair enough, I reckon, from Alpha Atheris. They realize, okay, look, we've lost this one. You guys have got it, but let's use this to take a tactical timeout instead. I think it's a fair enough call. They don't quite look like a unit when they're going in for their attacks. They're just small things. Actually, not even small things. There are things that are just not quite going there to plan, because I don't think everyone is on the same plan at times.
Yeah, well, I think we really saw that with that team kill. Downing, yeah, there you go. Okay, round over, flawless, whatever. So poor Alpha Atheris here, like they're trying so hard, but as you said, they are so out of sync with each other. And we really saw that personified with the team kill 2 rounds prior, which ironically is from the most experienced player on the team, right? So this is a debut for Alpha Atheris. They qualified fair and square without Kamikaze on the team. Unfortunately, Matumbo couldn't make it due to visa issues or whatever it was. And now they're playing on their first ever event. And they're playing with a sub, no less. And it's been a rough slog, right? Space Station, a really tough opponent in a BO1. Wolves now, an incredibly challenging opponent as well in a BO3. And they are clearly rattled. Like, none of these players have the experience of playing in an event like this before, with the exception of Kamikaze. He's played it numerous and even won an invitational back in Paris in 2021. But a very different time. Kamikaze is not quite as sharp as he used to be, perhaps. And it's just such a challenge to try and get yourself into the headspace to play a match like this.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, to no fault of their own, right? Like, they didn't quite defeat the final boss, and that was the visa. And so, unfortunately, like you've been saying, they haven't been playing with their 5, and not playing with your full 5 going into a LAN really changes the team dynamic. Like, yes, they've brought in someone super experienced to try and push them over the line and get them in that right headspace. But when you're so inexperienced, these teams just have a tendency to get trumped, unfortunately. And that's just the nature of this debut into your international event. It's not just these guys, but even, you know, like you think about all the teams that debuted at the last major, felt the exact same adversities as well. And that's sort of just the cool format, I think, of this 2023 season of Rainbow Six.
That's right. It might be cruel, might be ruthless, but it does give an opportunity to many teams to show what they're worth. And for Ivan, a really nice shot with that twist drone to take down that mirror window. Shink is going to have to now crouch to keep his head safe. He does shoot the second twitch drone. And this is some pretty decent ground now taken by Alpha Atheris, but P4 will continue to rain terror down. If he can hold on to archives here, this could be big, but 2 massive kills force him to rotate back towards the side.
Oh, this is a pretty cool attack, actually, from Alpha Atheris. They've segmented off only the top square part of the map and then just sent Jay on his lonesome to see if he can get any backstabs. Now taking the tango with P4 on the other side, but he actually loses it out. P4, nice, sharp shooting to take him down.
Kamikaze is on for the trade, though he doesn't land the critical shot. P4 finds another one. Boy, is he sharp today. 2v3 now for Wolves. as they hold on Mowgli down in the blue stairs, but I don't think Toski has any idea about it. As I say that, I think information might have come through. Oh, the C4 didn't land. Kamikaze's low, and he needs to force this plant down onto the ground. Toski continues to hold this position, but P4 has snuck on through. No! How does he get away with it? There's a player just on the other side who could pop up his head. Hask gets up, a flash to go down. P4 dodges them both, dodges them all. But Toski comes through at the final clutch moment for Alpha Atheris and gets them yet another round. 3 more will be required to push overtime.
Toski really was the linchpin of that attack there for Alpha Atheris. Not only did he use his Ossa Shield to actually set themselves up on top of Square, but as they went in for the execute, he kept at bay all the players that were trying to return back to the site. He took the 1v1 to Mowgli, for example, on the top of blue, making sure that his team was safe from the backstab to come through. Not just that, but even in the final dying seconds of the round, Hask was like, help, P4 is on the other side, I need you. And he came in and he shut him down as well. And yeah, I think Toski, probably, I would say the captain of this team. I think that he's actually said this in an interview as well. Might have been poorly translated because I can't read Spanish. But yeah, as I understand it, Toski is that leadership figure for this team, and being able to bring his team back into it with a good idea, on a good operator as well, is exactly what Alpha Atheris need to take the fight to Wolves.
Yeah, I do agree. Alpha Atheris, they do need to bring more special ideas, more nice little quirks and quips to this game, because it was a really slow start, right? 4 rounds in a row for Wolves. And that meant that by the time Alpha Atheris woke up, Wolves were an eye on match point. On defense, they've been pretty damn solid, right? Like, that was just a tertiary bomb site for Wolves. They can now go back down to the basement. They could go up to CEO afterwards. And there's 3 more match points in the back pocket for them to do so.
Reload!
All right, here we go, Wolves. Match point now. Staying away from elimination. That's the goal here. You could be sent home if you lose out this series, and that is what is on the line. And Wolves, they really do not want to be sent home. It's Mowgli, first point of contest in this top floor, but he's going to fall off pretty early. There's not a lot of utility to support him in his position, so all he wants to do is just shoot a drone out and then fall back to the safety of his teammates. And so is Deadshot as well. Really early fall off in general from Wolves. I think the only player left is... Whoa, what's going on here? Whoa, what is happening?
I am perplexed, Mandy. But clearly there was a read there on that push in, and Toski does manage to find one before he is traded. I'd say Wolves have still won that exchange.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I would definitely agree with that. You want to use your Osso to then enable yourselves through the mid to late round, plan on an execute with it, and Toski has died. That's not so good.
No, it's not.
Whereas Mowgli, on the other side, is your set and forget utility. His ADSs are still alive, even though he isn't. And that's what matters.
A bomb has been located.
Now, if you're joining us on the main Rainbow Six screen, welcome. This is an elimination match between Wolves from France and Alpha Atheris from Mexico and Brazil, the final remaining Latin American League team in the tournament. And they are staring down map point on their opponent's map pick. Wolves here, this is just map 1 of Bank. Next up is Oregon. Wolves have been so good, and they're looking pretty hot here too, Mandy. That said, Alpha Atheris have made pretty decent headway in this mid-round, getting to work on those hatches.
It does make it a little easier, the fact that Wolves actually pre-opened a lot of those hatches. They were looking for what was a pretty light roam in the end inside of open and staff room, but electing to fall back pretty early to then kill the garage player. Anyway, it does seem like a push is starting to amount now for Alpha Atheris. They are looking to take this back side of the map as they posture around the main stairs.
Tango spotted. Basement.
Okay, here comes Jay on the main stairs, but he's got to deal with quite a few different angles. And I still can't quite tell. It looks like Alpha Atheris are once again changing their ideas. Ivan's found one, but Bibu trades himself. Kamikaze has dropped now into the elevator as the final E1D rings out. Deadshot, he's been phenomenal all day, all year for Wolves, but he goes down. Jay has brought the man advantage back into his team's favor. Kamikaze locked out of the side, but it's Jay once again. He does it all. Hask joins in. Only 2 match points remain. And it looks like Alpha Atheris are on the march towards OT.
Solid explosive execute as well from Alpha Atheris. I identified, okay, there was a bit too much resistance over on the server side. We don't want to face the mirror. We're not cool with facing the smokes to deny the plant because they don't want to bait out their utility. So let's just brute force down the lobby side. They trusted in their guns and they went for it, and it worked.
Now at the score of 6-4, Wolves will take their tactical timeout. 45 seconds to discuss with Lilon, their coach. I apologize to every French person out there. I'm terrible at pronouncing her name. Lilon?
Sorry, you're asking the wrong person.
Okay.
I'm terrible as well.
What would she be saying right now? Is this more about just resetting the mental? Like, there's still 2 rounds left in the tank. Like, there's no reason to break a sweat.
I think relax. That's what I would be saying to Wolves if I was in this final round. They've got it in them to win. They've been super clean this entire match, and the cleanliness of it all is starting to slip away a little bit now that they've gone through the side swap. So I think in this tactical timeout, they just need to trust in their strategy. Play the strategy and be cautious about it. I feel like is the right word I would use for Wolves. When they played their match against Bliss earlier today, it really felt like they were lacking that caution and that quiet in the server because they got a bit antsy, you know? And sometimes when you stray a foot away from the strategy, especially if you're a team that's as structured like Wolves, it can spell disaster. And relax.
It's been said that when you're in the server, it's not about learning new things or getting your coach to tell you the ultimate strategy. It's about how do you hit the skill ceiling that's already been determined for you coming into the game? And the coach's job is to get their players at that skill ceiling. Now, we've actually had a double tactical timeout here for a strange reason. The coach's mic wasn't working, unfortunately, so we had to reset the timer. So Lilon's actually had 45 seconds now to talk to the team. But yeah, you can see she's just finishing up her tactical timeout right now. And it's fairly calm words. As you can see, I want to see head up. I want to see chin up. Because when Wolves were winning, there was smiles. There was laughter. Bibu was 9-0. We need to see that fire back in this team.
They can do it, and I think they just need to be reminded that they can, and that's why Lilun is such an important coach here and such an important tactical timeout to be taking. This is an elimination match. We have to remind everyone, if you lose this series, you are out. Of course, there is still another match left, but if you lose the series,
yeah, and you know, Wolves, if I recall correctly, they made it to every single major last year. I believe they were one of only 2 teams to do so. I believe it was Wolves and W7M in 2022 to make it to all 3 majors. They, of course, then made it to 6 Invitational, where Wolves had their best ever performance with a top 6 result. And now they made it to Copenhagen, where they made top... no, they actually just missed out on top 8, if I recall correctly. They didn't make it to the main stage, which was no doubt a failure for them after a top 6 at SI. You'd expect to make the main stage at the next major. And here they are. They played their first game against the lowly Bliss and lost it. Now they're fighting for elimination. Wolves, they're better than this. They know it. They have such high expectations of themselves. And it's thoughts like that that start to make you suffer. In these moments, when you're playing against a team like Alpha Atheris in an elimination match, you need to chill out.
Info on the top floor. It does seem like, once again, Wolves are looking for that extended roam through the entire map, despite the bomb site being the basement. Flashbangs will ring out on the side of the attack, but no one to follow after that. Alpha Atheris playing a very cautious early game on the entry.
It's the right play. A couple of Wolves players have been very aggressive in this game. Bibu still 12-4, and here we go, Deadshot. He's been deadly on that Mozzie as well. Good denial of information there, taking down that Valkyrie camera. Ooh, good spray there from Deadshot. Man, he has been so sharp. He does quite a bit of damage to Hask there.
Mate, Deadshot has got the game tingle, you know? He's got the game sense tingle. I don't know how else to describe it, but he just has the timings for his gunfights, like, on point. They're so good. Oh, but there goes Mowgli, though, down, but not out.
Oh, he can drop back to
and then
side.
the safety of his bomb site as well. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's so cool. They all, like, saved him. They all ran through.
Saving Private Mowgli with the Azami Keeper barriers
so cool.
to support. Now, unfortunately for Alpha Atheris, P4 found a kill earlier as well. Ivan went down, who's really suffered this game. Have a look at that. Most deaths in the server at 11.
Interesting, though. Now that Wolves have forfeited the top 2 floors, it does seem like Alpha Atheris are starting to capitalize on this mid-round. They are sending drones into the bomb site nice and early. They've identified that the wall inside of server is actually soft, I believe. So if they do want to open it up, all it's going to take is the buck. They don't really need Kamikaze down there if they don't want to. But are they going to go for this server take, or are they going to repeat a successful formula? Last time they attacked this bomb site, they just went for a flood down the lobby side of the map. But I don't know if repeating the same thing is going to catch Wolves off guard.
Well, it may have been dependent on whether they could counter this mirror window using the Twitch drone, but Wolves spotted it and took it down before Toski was able to do so. Now he has 1 Twitch drone left in pocket, but they're watching so avidly for this hatch drop. He's going to give it a crack anyway. Cross your fingers and hope to God that this lands on the canister. It's not an easy shot to land. There's 3 players watching it. Shinka has already taken down Hask. The numbers advantage is falling. Toski has to land this shot, but they spot the drone and take it down. It seems inevitable now, Mandy, that Wolves should secure the map.
Yeah, only 30 seconds left to go, and as soon as Kamikaze opens up that wall, he's going to face the resistance of Shinka, C4 in hand, with it all to do. 20 seconds left, he's got to try and get this bomb down. A flashbang's going to initiate it, but it's a tough spot now for Atheris.
Okay, here comes the E1D and the onslaughts. It's like waves crashing into a wall. There's nothing for it. Wolves can steal away the game. Cool, calm, and collected on the back of the timeout. They put Alpha Atheris down 1 map in the series and are looking hot to survive into day 2 of the major.
Really good as well from Wolves off the back of the tactical timeout. That was the medicine that they needed to stem the bleeding in this map and close it out in 7-4 scoreline. It looked clean because it was really for a lot of this map so far. It was just a little bit where Wolves sort of stepped out of the line a little bit, just slightly, but they're able to bring it back in, and that's a sign of maturity.
That's right. Alpha Atheris have a lot of work to be done now, but for Wolves, they can take consolation in the fact that despite losing their match earlier today for Bliss, where, if you remember, they lost 5 rounds in a row from an advantage. When they started to feel the jitters, when they started to see that Alpha Atheris had gotten together 2 rounds in a row from the 6-2 position that they found themselves in, Wolves said, look, not again. Happened against Bliss. We will not let it happen again. And I think that's exactly what Lulun said over the mic. Guys, you know what happens here.
No choking.
No choke. Don't choke or you don't get supper. It's pretty much that easy.
Yeah, look, that's fair enough. We are going to have to jump into that second map, though. It is a best of 3 series, so Wolves not quite out of danger yet.
No.
But it's Oregon.
It is Oregon, and it's the first Oregon I've cast at the major. I know you had one a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I think we've casted enough Oregon, the 2 of us, in this stage, but when it's teams that are not our usual casting teams, I'm very excited. So I want to see Alpha Atheris and Wolves go head-to-head. I want to know if Latin America will survive to day 2 or whether French hearts will be broken once again. We'll find out on the other side of this quick break.
Hey, I'm Dominique Clément, game designer on Rainbow Six Siege. If you want to get ready to confront the next addition to the Siege roster, here are a few advice. Maverick's Flaming Gadget might be that one tool you can always rely on when it's time to melt through the enemy's defense. Training your sharpshooter skills, and more specifically, with gadgets like Zophia's Lifeline, will come in very handy when it comes to countering the effect of her fresh new face. Finally, it wouldn't be Siege if explosions didn't have an impact on your game. And this season is the perfect moment to review your frag throwing skills, because a well-placed bang might just be what you need to clear you and your team a path to victory. That's all for now, but make sure you tune in to the full reveal to get all the information on what's coming next season. See you there.
Well, Bank is all done. It was a 7-4 in favor of Wolves, but after all, it was their map pick. And Alpha Atheris finding 2 rounds at the end of it, coming back from the 6-2 deficit, is nothing to scoff at. Now, here's the round breakdown, the match summary, and the player stats. The players to talk about, really, it was mainly Bibu. He was 9-0 after 4 rounds. This guy was nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. He really stepped it up for his team with a big clutch. The 1 versus 3, for me, I think was the highlight of that last map. That was so well played. It was so smart. That's the one word I'm going to give him to it, right? He really did a great job at isolating all those 1-to-1-to-1s, and I guess that just shows his experience. He is the longest standing player in this tournament so far, and I think it's shown in the server today.
Yeah, very experienced player for sure. And the same can be said, of course, for Kamikaze on the other side with Alpha Atheris, but he is, like we've said many times, just a sub. 3 weeks he's had since he knew he was going to be subbing in for this roster, according to my calculations at least. I don't know exactly when the backdoor deals were done, but that was when it was announced. Of course, we've done map 1. Wolves are up 1-0 in the series. Map 2 is Oregon, Alpha Atheris' pick, and this is where they really need to step up their game. Coach behind them seems to be looking smiley, looking happy, so I love that. And I think we're very close to getting stuck into the game. Here is Oregon. The match is starting, and it's about time that we see whether Latin America will survive to the second day of the major here in Atlanta. Alpha Atheris on their last legs, and the Wolves are hunting. They are gunning for this victory, and they're looking to redeem themselves for a lackluster performance this morning.
They do not want to be eliminated here in day 1. What a cruel way to go out it would be for the Wolves. But here we go, into Oregon. Another comfortable map, I would say, for Wolves. We haven't seen them play it that often in very recent history, like stage 2 kind of history, but they have a pretty good track record on it for the most part. And I think that Wolves going to Oregon are going to be feeling pretty comfortable about their map pool. And I think that just is once again a testament to the experience of the team, having a pretty wide strat book. But the ban phase has flown by us a little bit, half of it done. Both attacks being banned out already. It's Glaz and it's Ying, the disruptor operators, taken out by either one of these teams. Does mean that there is a type of execute, that the Glaz Ying type of execute, that has been taken away.
Yeah, very uncommon to see that Glaz ban, I must admit. I kind of took a double take when I saw that come through. Clearly Wolves know something that we do not, or at least that I do not. I
also do not know.
Okay, did you cast Alpha Atheris? I know you did a day of Latin American League.
I did do a day of Latin America League, and I did cast Alpha Atheris. But
did you see Glaz?
No.
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 Did you cast them on Oregon?
I don't remember. We casted a lot of Oregon.
I
casted a lot of Oregon
blurs
as well
into
in
one,
general, and it's all kind of one game.
Did you cast with Jake? Jake Xenox Venditti?
I did. That was one of the Oregon games.
My sympathies.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, alas, we're going to jump in. The point that I was going to try and make here is that between the EU League and the LATAM League, the game plays out really differently, right? In LATAM League, you have these really fast-paced mid-rounds where like everyone is throwing themselves at each other constantly through the mid-round, and so basically the round is over within 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go if you're a LATAM League player. If you are playing EU against Wolves, that is not quite how the game works. Yeah. And I think that Alpha Atheris at the moment, their main struggle is actually playing at the tempo and the pace that Wolves are setting.
And Wolves vary that tempo so frequently as well, as we saw particularly in the Bliss game. Sometimes on defense, Wolves would just sit back. They know they have an advantage, and they would just chill out and wait for their opponents to make a mistake or waste time. In contrast, there'd be other rounds where they say, look guys, I've just droned out this, it's free, let's go. And I think that variation is what makes Wolves so unpredictable. But as we've seen consistently now in the 2 maps this major, Mandy, Wolves tend to struggle a little bit in the second half. They struggle at closing games. It happened against Bliss, and we started to see that doubt seep in as well in the first map on Bank when Alpha Atheris started to mount that comeback. So Wolves starting on the defense here. On their opponent's map pick, I think this is exactly where they want to be.
Should be a fairly comfortable first half, as we've seen time and time again for Wolves, but it's about converting that to a win. First round here is going to be down into the basement bomb side, and quite a lot of time has ticked away now. It's been a minute, and Wolves haven't really shown a whole lot of resistance through the map. It's really just been very much centered around the stairs, and Alpha Atheris now have free real estate on the top 2 floors of the map. Oh dear.
Okay, here we go.
Very nice.
Oh, poor Observer. That was a rough one. Okay, there we go. So hatches are being opened. As you said, a lot of free real estate seceded here by Wolves. But that's because, look at this lineup. Like, they are absolutely cooking on defense. When it comes to that bomb site, it is going to be nigh impossible to deal with that mirror, the catch, the double catch. You've got Jaeger and Wamai. You've got Warden to deal with any smokes or flashes. And, of course, Shinka on that oh-so-powerful Fenrir.
That being said, on the side of Alpha Atheris, they do have quite a lot of throwable utility. They do have 2 sets of flashbangs, a set of grenades, and the Capital bots on Jay. So if they can do everything all together or dedicate themselves to burning through that spot, it could happen. But I think, like you've been pointing out, the power positions here on this basement defense can be very strong and difficult to clear.
Late round rotation, 2 players going over towards blue, Toski and Hask. 1 player above the hatch in meeting, looking to put some pressure on electrical. Here come the flashes. Well, my magnet's cleared on out. Shinka is forced back. A nade to follow. A second one, perhaps. Will Shinka survive this? He's getting aggressive. He's retaken the position, but he loses his life. Hask moves straight on through, meets a mirror window, and loses his own life. Bibu just barely manages to win his fight against Jay. It is pure, undiluted chaos in the server. As Toski is the last man standing, and he is frustrated to be confronted with that Fenrir. Gadget 1v3 with that diffuser cold on the ground and very little time to work with. 2 players in the crossfire. Deadshot finds the final kill. And a good start for Wolves on their defense.
Nice one for Wolves. I think they just lent into Basement Oregon as Basement Oregon, and I won't overcomplicate it any more than that. I think I do not overthink that one. Look, it's a strong bomb site. If you can get all 5 players back on the bomb site, you've got all your catch, you've got your mirrors and your power positions. Even as an attack, even as a 5-man attacking roster, it can be then hard to still land that execute. I think Wolves played that one really well.
Yeah, basement is usually a given on Oregon. It's by far and away the best bomb site on that map, but these other bomb sites are where things get challenging. So moving up to dorms now for Wolves, this is the real opportunity for Alpha Atheris. And I'm curious what they're going to go for. Are they just going to do a pretty typical, like, try and clear master, try and clear attic take? Or are they going to go for something more like a big window white stairs take, maybe a bit of vertical game? We do have the Gridlock and her nades, but not a lot else in terms of the nade game.
5 seconds to insertion.
Toski switching out onto the Buck though. That does make me think that maybe they are going to try and send in their players to play that vertical game from down below. Although Deadshot is down here on the Oryx, and he's going to be making havoc on his own. Of course, a very mobile operator, can jump in and up through the hatches, make his own rotates. He's the perfect operator, really, to be roaming in the ground floor.
Deadshot's such a good pickup, honestly. I was skeptical for a little bit, I admit, but he just seems like one of those guys is always consistent.
All right, here goes Ivan, though. Already in trophy control, so no resistance whatsoever on the side of Wolves inside of trophy. They've really dialed back their defense towards only the bomb site and even dedicating 2 Rios inside of meeting here to protect Deadshot in his position. Meanwhile, though, it does seem like Alpha Atheris are in this decision-making process. Do they go and dedicate themselves to clearing out Deadshot, or do they just have a look at the bomb site?
At the moment, quite a lot of pressure on the bomb site. Oh, Bibu, he's missed his impact trick. That means that this wall will be breached. Now he's using the Azami's Keeper barrier to try and plug up this hole a little bit. He's plugged up the closet rotate into Master. And now a second one as well will give Kamikaze an opening.
Here we go now. Closet control in the hands of Alpha Atheris as they make their way on in. Deadshot has been left to his own devices, and that's the play that we're going to keep an eye on as they make their way in through attic. They need to be really cautious as they traverse in through this attic hallway, because there is going to be a player down below shooting them up through the hatch, and Mowgli's ready to cross as well.
This is a challenging defense now for Wolves. No line of sight here looking into trophy from Pit. That protects Mowgli, but it also means there's no crossfire on site to try and deny that plan. Ivan is so close to walking on inside. There's only one player he will have to confront. The gunfight could mean it all. In goes the player, but the Fenrir device makes it a cloudy affair indeed. Oh, double kill for Bibu. Shinka as well gets into the fight. Mowgli getting aggressive now at the shotgun. Toski tries to find something. Another one for Bibu. Hask seems all but hopeless. as he will fall to a flawless round from Wolves.
Really good stuff there from Wolves. Once again, pretty similar philosophy to that first defending round that they won as well. Just leaning into the stronghold of the anchor on the bomb site. They know that Alpha Atheris, yes, they've given a lot of space to them. Yes, they have given up Closet, they have given up Trophy. But by the time that they hit the bomb site, Alpha Atheris just didn't do enough work to actually cut down on the defense that had been set up inside of the bomb site itself, right? Like, once you go into that top floor execute, it can be pretty tricky to get the bomb down. There's not that many safe spots. And the one safe spot that you can put it down in is pretty hard to get into in the first place, right? You've got to cross over the breach through basically half the bomb site and then get it in a corner. And so Alpha Atheris did try and brute force their way in, but Wolves just lent into the fact that they had the Azami up and they really could not get in.
Yeah, that Azami was really powerful. I don't know whether Alpha Atheris didn't have info on that or whether they felt like they didn't need to or didn't have the capacity to clear it. The other thing that really comes to mind is that's 2 rounds in a row, Mandy. We're spectating these attackers who are just running straight into the FNATs, the Dread Mines from Fenrir.
That's a good point.
I want to be clearing those. If I'm on the attack against Wolves, you're going to be picking the Twitch or the Brava. Yeah, I know your
My
favorite. I mean, the Brava is actually the best counter to the Dread Mines, not Dreadnoughts, the Dread Mines, because when they're closed, the only gadget that can destroy them is Brava.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think something that Alpha Atheris have been lacking in the series so far is problem solving. It just feels like Wolves have got their number. Well, actually, I wouldn't say that Wolves have got their number. I think Wolves are just playing their strengths. They're playing strats that are comfortable to them, and they know what to do, and they're not overthought, and they're just doing it. Whereas I think on the side of Alpha Atheris, they're not quite putting as much thought into it as Wolves are, even if it's just a little bit more simple. Oh, no. And like you've been saying, they've got to face tank some of these Dread Mines being sent into the Shadow Realm and taking damage for it. But in fact, they're actually going to double down on this peak onto Bibu and will take him down. But the vertical is there to meet them.
That's not half bad. P4 finds one. It's trades back and forth, Mandy, as Shinka is trying to hold on to Kitchen solo. Kamikaze is snuck into meeting. That is the bomb site, but where is the diffuser? It must remain on the ground somewhere because none of these 3 players have it. Oh no! A player went down with the diffuser, far from sight, far from control. Now his teammates must pick up the pieces. Mowgli has the diffuser, it's been pinged out, and Wolves know that they do not need to over-aggress. They can forfeit the site, they just need to hold on to the diffuser.
Oh man, and once again, a lot of value out of these Dread Mines. Another one of Shinka's has just gone off, and so that's going to telegraph one of the remaining players of Alpha Atheris, and it really does seem like they have the read on his diffuser position. Mowgli taking the tango, and Kamikaze will be able to take him down, and not even a slither of HP taken away from himself. Husk, though, has actually been able to reclaim the diffuser, somehow sneaking his way in through security.
Ivan must cover, low HP. 3 players on the defense for this retake. They don't need to rush. They can slowly but surely make their way through. Mowgli finds one. Traded back. Haskin a 1v2. Bit of damage on the Shinka. Oh, perfect shot! Deadshot describes what's been done to him. Shinka now changing his utility. He's activated that Dread Mine. Hask may well get caught. This is a 300 IQ play. And as the Dread Mine should activate, Shinka should have information on this final player. He moves on forward. Can he land the shot? He goes down. Is there time? Shinka's got it. He's got the clutch for Wolves. By the skin of their teeth, they keep themselves in it. They keep themselves flawless. 3 rounds on the trot.
Never in doubt, Dev. When it's Shinka on the clutch, you never doubt. The round is not over. And what a crazy microplay. Like you pointed out in the last couple seconds, realizing, hang on a moment, I can send him into the Shadow Realm and then take the fight onto him. And he did it. That was awesome. That was so cool. That was awesome there from Wolves and from Shinka, the clutch master of EU, I would say. He's been able to do some nut stuff.
Yeah, very underrated player is Shinka. Might not have a lot of kills all the time, but his kills are valuable. There's no doubt about it. And he's a very clever player. Alpha Atheris are going to have to get clever about this. Tactical timeout. What needs to be said?
That was a close round there from Alpha Atheris. I liked the fact that they were able to reconvene in through that mid-round, pick up the diffuser and realize, okay, all the Wolves players, they flipped the defense over to small tower. Let's just try and get a plan of meaning. And Husk, he really almost did it there, man. Like, he did some nice shots onto the players that were trying to retake into the bomb site. But unfortunately, when you're in a 1 versus 1 against Shinka, it's a pretty tough spot to be in. So I think for Alpha Atheris, they're realizing that they have the rhythm to get back into it. It just needs to be a little more well thought out.
It's narrow margins though, Mandy. That's all it
Defenders,
takes
protect your
for
bombs
Wolves
from
to
being defused by
get themselves
attackers.
over the line in these rounds. The only thing that's standing between Alpha, Atheris, and quite a few rounds on the board in this series is just those tiny narrow margins, and Shinka will have breathed new life into Wolves as well with that victory. Winning the tertiary bomb site on Oregon, it's by no means a necessity. You can happily coast through with your 2 laundry victories, maybe 1 on Thorms, and you'd be happy going into the second half. Here for Alpha Atheris, they are going back into attacking the basement with 0 rounds on their side. As we, of course, have a really quick rehost here. Now, this is a technical timeout, so the players aren't allowed to talk tactics. They will just have to sit and wallow in whatever emotions they must be experiencing right now.
It's actually kind of cruel. I don't know. I feel like cruel's been my word of the day at the moment because it really is. It's only day 1. And yeah, I feel like not being able to talk in your tactical timeout and just having a look at your teammates like, yo, what up? You know, but not really yo, what up. Like, you got to say it psychic.
I don't know if you're allowed to like do hand signals, but if it was me, I would play like rock, paper, scissors or do a thumb war or something with my teammate. I think that would be fun.
I feel like the refs will get mad at you for that somehow.
Yeah, the ref probably will.
Yeah. But I think the big thing about these like tech timeouts is the marinating thoughts and emotions. You know, that's bad. That's not good, especially when the emotions that are marinating in your brain are not happy thoughts. That's not cool. And if you're Alpha Atheris right now, they're probably not very happy thoughts.
No. Well, we did see Nil, who is their coach, standing behind them right now, having a little bit of a chat to them during that tactical timeout. And I'm still wondering what's being said because different coaches have very different methods. We've talked a lot about this, Mandy. And also off air, we've talked a lot about this recently because you recommended me a particular book, which I very much enjoyed.
That's good. Very good.
And I can't stop thinking about it, I admit. The inner game. It's about the external game is Rainbow Six. That's what we're playing. But there is an inner game going on inside every single player's mind about reaching that peak performance right now in this very moment. And I want to know, is Nil focusing on helping his players perfect the inner game, or is he trying to help get the inner game on track, or is he talking about external factors? He's saying, okay, guys, you should be bringing these operators, or they're playing like this, so you need to do this. Which aspect of it is it? Or is it more like the inner game? Say, guys, you need to chill out, just have fun with it, no pressure. This is just, don't care about who we're playing against, just play your game. Which way is it? Which mental kind of faculty is being applied?
I mean, I think in every situation it calls for something different, right? Like sometimes I feel like in Wolves' case, especially in that last map in Bank, it did feel kind of like just like small mistakes, you know? And that's just like getting yourself in the right headspace to not make those mistakes. That's sort of the beauty and the trouble of Rainbow Six. Like, you get punished in this game if you don't know how to not die, right? Like when you're a newcomer and you first learn how to play Rainbow Six, there's more learning how to not die than how to get kills.
It's
if
true.
that makes sense, yeah.
Very true.
And I think that it's even translatable here into Pro League as well. There are just some things that you know if you step a little bit out of line, you will die.
That's true.
Because that's how the game works. And yeah, I think for Wolves it was just making sure they're in the headspace to not do that. Whereas I think in Alpha Atheris' case at the moment, it's a bit different. I would say, I think on a macro level, they've been struggling in terms of strategy. It just doesn't feel like the takes that they're doing are like super well thought out into what Wolves are actually bringing to the table.
It makes me wonder, Mandy, because like this is the best team in Latin America. They came first in stage 2. They didn't have to play through that last chance qualifier. This is the number 1 team from that region over Knights, over Revan, over all these other fantastic teams. These guys are the best. And that's after not making it to Copenhagen, after being 5th place in stage 1. But that was with Mutombo in the roster. And while Kamikaze at face value seems like a huge upgrade with all of his experience, if he's sitting in the middle, if he's calling the shots, you're asking 4 players who gained their confidence playing a certain type of game to completely change their tack, completely change their strategy, and figure out the way that they want to play the game.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Yeah, don't worry about that, guys.
So anyway, yeah, I'm going to piggyback off your point as well about them having to play a completely different game, right? In Latin America, the problem solving is completely different to the problem solving you have to do against Wolves, right? Wolves, what they've been doing in this game, actually in this series in particular, is really leaning into that late game, especially on the defense. That's where all the utility is put. That's basically what they've been doing for the most part. Whereas in Latin America, a lot of the rounds are very focused in around that mid game, right? Like that middle part of the rounds where the trades are going back and forth. The way that the Latin American teams play is so much more fast paced and closer together as well, right? These Wolves players, they're able to hold on to their own ground. You think about players like Shinka.
They separate each other.
Yeah, they separate each other, but they pick self-sufficient operators. So you got people like Mowgli and Bibu, really good on Azami. They know how to make a fortress of their own, and they can hold there on their own for a long time. You got players like Shinka playing like Mira, Fenrir, that kind of thing. Self-sufficient operators. They're on their own, but they can hold a lot of parts of the map. Whereas of the way that a lot of the Latin American teams play is just like, my teammate's fighting over there, I'm gonna go help him. You know, it doesn't matter who they are, I'm gonna go and help them. And that's what the pacing of the game is like. And then when you play against Wolves, it's like a completely different court to be playing in.
Very much. And it's so frustrating when you're playing against a team that really understands the win conditions, right? And that's what we see. For example, you're talking about a player like Mowgli or Bibu or whoever it is on Azami, in for instance. Think about the round where we saw the diffuser go down in Z hallway, right? Just outside of security. And the Azami saw where it was. I think it was Mowgli playing Azami. And you know what he does? He sets down his keeper barrier and he holds that position. He doesn't overpeak. He doesn't need to overpeak because he knows the win condition is him staying alive and that diffuser staying on the ground. He doesn't need to get too aggressive. All he needs to do is mount that pressure on Alpha Atheris. Now, I admit I've been a bit of a chess nerd recently, and recently I've heard a little bit of chess advice, which I think can apply a lot to Siege as well.
All right.
It's to take is a mistake. So in chess, to take a piece, if you don't have to take a piece, if you can instead add more pressure to that piece, that is the better option. And I can see the same thing happen here in Siege. Sometimes it's better to just increase your advantage instead of looking for more.
That's fair enough. That is very fair enough. It's like a risk and reward conversation all over again, you know? Like, you could go for the kill, but if you lose that fight, it puts your team in such a worse position than if you just didn't die.
Yeah, exactly. And
Sense
sometimes not dying is the most frustrating thing that you can play against, especially if you're on the attack and a defender is in a power position. Simply not dying as that defender can spiral the attack into making all kinds of unpredictable mistakes.
And that's kind of the key to this basement defense as well, right? The power positions in this bomb site are so strong that you kind of don't really need to roam. Like, yes, roaming is a strategy that is sometimes brought. Sometimes teams like to do it. It's all play style dependent. But in this particular series, Wolves have found a lot of success in just leaning into the bomb site itself and not looking for that extension. That being said, it does seem like Alpha Atheris are cooking up what seems to be a rush.
I want to see it, Mandy. I really do want to see it. Solos is banned, so you can't see that Bliss coming from a mile away. However, mute jammers, if placed down, could stall out this Blitz. In it comes. The Gon 6 has been heard. Oh, but what a shot! Shinka landed it right in the feet. He one-shots the Blitz right out of the server, looking for more. Gets it! Double kill for Shinka. This man is unstoppable. And now Alpha Atheris look like damn fools. Toski can't even find a damn thing. Kamikaze goes down without a second thought. And Wolves dominate 4 rounds straight.
Yeah, not a well thought out rush there from Alpha Atheris at all. Just funneling straight into the setup that Wolves had on the bomb site. Once again, it's Shinka. I feel like this is the only name we've been talking about in this game so far. He is insane. And they just walk straight on into him. He's got the shotgun out and he's like, so anyway, cool, I'm just going to shoot the Blitz because he has the trust in the SAS shotgun to do that. He goes around and is like, now I have a mirror. That's cool. And he shoots them as they go around the corner peeking the mirror and then gets even more confident, pushes through the rotate and then goes for another one and then another one inside of E-Box as well. Man, Shinka has been nuts.
It's fantastic to see that every single map we have watched from Wolves today has had a different star player. Earlier today, against Bliss, there's no doubt about it, it was P4. P4 had such a good, particularly first half. I think he dropped off a little bit as Wolves dropped off when Bliss maintained their reverse sweep. But on Bank, just prior to this, it was no doubt Bibu. He was insane. And now Shinka is stepping up for the team as well. Of course, keep in mind the kill count on the scoreboard is not complete because we've had that rehost, so that only includes all the rounds since it was 3-0. But Shinka's had so many big moments. He had his massive 1v3 clutch as well, let's not forget. And Wolves are banking on big plays like that to get that extra little 10% for their team.
Deadshot looking for the spawn peek outside onto lobby, contesting that long line of sight, but not able to quite land the shots. It's Alpha Atheris to mount another attack and another approach into the building, but it does seem like they're going to meet pretty strong resistance. Mowgli holding onto Trophy early, but actually no utilities who support him. So once again, Wolves not looking to extend their way over into Trophy, not even looking for the extension inside of Attic. Both Wolves are closed. They are just focusing inside of the bomb site and using that to their advantage.
Ooh, okay, good impact trick though from Bibu. Can he land the second one? Okay, two destructive devices from Ace, what are they called? Selmas, there we go. Destroyed on a third!
Wow.
Mowgli came over and threw his impact as well. That is massive now. Wolves have completely eliminated all of the hard breach that Alpha Atheris have brought to the table.
I might call it here a bit early. I feel like they've lost the round off the back of that, to be honest. What can they do? Everything is closed. They have no more hard breach to open anything whatsoever. So every single wall is going to stay closed. The only way that Alpha Atheris can win this round is if from here, they then go and pivot to try and do something like a big tower and a kids type push or something like that that's more explosive, because the only thing they can do from this master side is funnel in from that one doorway. And that's the one that Bibu's looking at the moment. So they really need to make a pivot if they want to convert this.
Kamikaze does find one. Bibu almost loses his life to Hask. Down below, there are snakes in the grass. There are players down here. Bibu almost dies to that nade. Alpha Atheris have a chance here. Numbers advantage on their side. You might not need a breach if you can bring it back with pure gunfights. But P4 down below dispatches with Hask and can continue to support his team.
Tough spot now, though, still for Alpha Atheris. They need to follow their way on in, and there are still two players inside of this trophy position, being helped by the crossfire of Mowgli and of Bibu. And speaking of Mowgli, he's able to take the fight on onto Toski, goes for the re-swing onto Jay, 2 to his name, and that's going to put Alpha Atheris at a pretty heavy man deficit now.
Doesn't get much worse than this for the LATAM team, the sole LATAM representative remaining in Atlanta. Eventually Mowgli goes down, but it doesn't matter because P4 down below finds the final kill. Mowgli's having a laugh. Wolves have just won 5 rounds straight of defense on their opponent's map pick.
I feel like I called it a bit early and I got a bit scared there, but I really do feel like Wolves won that round in the first 30 seconds. I'll be completely honest with you. The only options that Alpha Atheris had once that wall was not open was then to go into funnel. And there was such little ways that they could have funneled into the bomb site with all the goo mines being up from Mowgli, all the Azami stuff that they just could not clear whatsoever. There was no way for them to get on in. And even as they peeked their head into the entry parts of the bomb site itself, instantly beheaded by Mowgli. 3 on the round, and Wolves just doing such a good job playing a simple game. I will say they're really not overthinking these strategies at all. They're very conservative. They're not overthought. They're not these crazy big stuff where they're holding onto the map, they're being ambitious about it. They're just holding onto the bomb site, but that's all it takes.
Yeah. Damn. Alpha Atheris are really struggling in this map specifically. Like on map 1 it wasn't so bad, but 5 rounds in a row. Andy, it's been a rough day to be a Latin American fan. We already saw Knights go home without winning a single map in their BO3. They went down handily, they went down quietly. Revan, 6 Karma, they didn't make it to this major. In fact, 6 Karma, oh Mowgli, what are you doing, man? Okay. There you go, another team kill.
I think he was trying to shoot the glass in the window.
Fair enough.
And then killed him.
As I was saying, 6 Karma, who were arguably the best Latin American team we've seen so far, they beat NIP at the Copenhagen Major. They cannot make 6 Invitational. Yeah. Knights cannot make 6 Invitational. Revan will not make it to the 6 Invitational. Alpha Atheris is the final chance for Latin America to make it to SI. And their chances of doing so are looking very grim.
Speaking of grim.
Knew you were going to say that.
I mean, you set me up perfectly for it. Oh, hang on a moment though. P4 has just taken out Ivan over in Small Tower. Meanwhile, it does seem like the rest of Alpha Atheris are going to try and clear their way in through the top floor. Mowgli thinks the better of it is going to fall off into Zulu.
I don't know what Mowgli's thinking right now, but he's fired up. You could see it after last round. Since the rehost, 5-1.
Toski knows, I reckon. I think Toski knows that P4 is being cheeky. I think.
Where is that? Where is P4? Is he hiding in... Oh, it's in Small Tower, isn't it? Just around the corner. And yeah, you're right. I don't think that Toski knows exactly where he is, but he's got a feeling.
Shinka's thinking about it as well. He's like, all right, P4, I want to get you back. I want to get you back to safety, mate. I'm not keeping you in the Small Tower once the execute comes through. And he's just going to have a quick peek in through the shower hallway to make sure that it is safe for now. Meanwhile, though, the vertical game is in the hands of Alpha Atheris, Sledgehammer of Husk, and he can start to dislodge some of the anchors on the bomb site, although there isn't many. It's just Mowgli, and he's safe.
Bibu is pretty close to that bomb site as well.
Oh dear.
And, well, as you can see, looks like the game is continuing. Now, we can see on our second monitor that the game is actually continuing at the moment. I can tell you it is still a 4v3 in favor of the Wolves with 50 seconds left to go, but Hask has found another kill. Mowgli's gone down. Shinka, though, does trade it. So at the moment, Wolves are in an advantage. It's now a 3 versus 1 for Wolves with Jay, the last player remaining, and I've now lost my second feed as well. So I don't know, but let's watch the players. It's a 3v1 for Wolves. We'll see their reaction when they win, surely.
Well, maybe they won't have a reaction.
Oh, here we go.
They're still going.
3v1 remains. Jay with it all to do. He's got the diffuser. Every single player on his team spectating him. Here's an angle for Shinka, though. Look at that prone, but P4 with the cross. Wolves handily, comfortably cruise their way onto match and series point.
Very nice. Very good from Wolves. They just chilled out. They fell off early as the roam clear came through, and they were in the bomb site. But then the bomb site started getting verticaled. So they were like, oh no! Anyway. And they went off the bomb site, and they were safe.
There's been so many, oh no! Anyway, moments in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. I think for Alpha Atheris here, they just don't seem to have it in their repertoire to problem solve the problems that Wolves are bringing to them.
And I think it's just getting exponentially worse as the game goes on.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it that Alpha Atheris are in their own heads. And we saw it in the first map when that team kill came out, when Kamikaze flicks to his teammate for... And it wasn't like a team kill like Mowgli where, oh, I was trying to shoot the floor. No. He, in the heat of the moment, got confused and thought that was an enemy and shoots to his head. That is like such a devastating way to exit your tournament, right? You see something like that go down, you know that it's pure chaos in the comms. Nil sitting back there, listening to it all unfold, getting his chance to throw a tactical timeout in the mix and it not counting for anything, that is gutting. We may not have any Mexican representatives at Six Invitational in terms of a team. We of course have Gio on Sonics, so credit to him, that's good. Mexican fans at least have someone to back for, but we've never had a majority Mexican team make it to a Six Invitational before. And Alpha Atheris, their chances of doing so are slipping away.
Here goes Wolves at their approach in on the building. It is the basement bomb site of choice for Alpha Atheris. Fair enough, and it does look like they are extending their roam out in through the ground floor. And what that means is that they've left the site rather vulnerable. P4 is going to put a drone inside of Blue Bunker just in the corner of the generator and has identified that there's actually no one playing in it just yet. It does seem like Alpha Atheris are leaning into playing that meeting power position for as long as they can, but then actually looking for the fall off through the hatch.
Well, hatch though. Oh, Jay misses the Twitch drone. That's unfortunate. Deadshot's getting a lot of information. Okay, guys. Dreadmine down on the rear stairs. No Dreadmine on blue. Shinka has taken down Hask, one of the best players from Alpha Atheris earlier today. And the remaining roster must stave off 5 very keen, very excitable, and very riled up Wolves. Now, Kamikaze is able to take down Mowgli. That's something, but he'll need a hell of a lot more than that. Here's Bibu on the shield. Don't get too close.
They're thinking about it, our Wolves. They're thinking that they can maybe hit the bomb site. Oh, what's going on over there? By the double door, okay. Toski taking a little bit of damage and thinks the better of it and is going to fall off. Meanwhile, Bibu creeping his way on in towards the bomb site. What they need to worry about is these dread mines as they make their way on in, but Deadshot's going to make things easier. Taking down Jay. Now, man advantage still in the hands of Wolves as they have a whole minute left to plan this execute.
See you on the other side.
And some change as well. Shinka's going to get a nice line of sight breach on this wall. Now, no actual entry, not required. All it's used for is to try and punish any players getting aggressive in the site. Now, those Vulcan canisters are going to delay a bit of time. P4 as well is able to clog up this site and the surrounding hallways with these track stingers. Oh, he takes a bit of damage. Needs to be careful. When will this plan come through? Ivan's actually snuck on in. He's taken down Bibu. Where was the cover? Shinka trades, but it may be too late. 2 players survive.
Tough spot there for Toski. Only 2 remaining plays for Alpha Atheris, and they're holding the crossfires for dear life, but there goes the Dread Mine.
And Kamikaze takes down P4. This is possible. There is a dream, and Toski makes it a reality. The trade from Shinka, and the trade back again from Kamikaze. It's still going. This is not done yet. Wolves might have a 6-0 lead, but finally Alpha Atheris, they wake up and they start to fight back. They fight for their chance to survive at the major.
Close round there for both of them. It just came down to a 1 versus 1. Kamikaze and Shinka. And a rare sight, but Shinka actually doesn't win that one out. And you don't see that every day, but a solid defense, I think, overall for Alpha Atheris. They fell back into the bomb site once they realized that Wolves were doing a class of Wolves MO and direct hitting into the bomb site and really not being super keen on clearing out that roam. The only person that really dedicated themselves to it was Deadshot on his own lurk. And, well, it did work out a little bit, but they couldn't quite translate it in the end from there. So Alpha Atheris, yes, they've successfully won the basement, but now they have to do it in kids.
Yeah, got to do it in kids, and then you got to do it on a tertiary, and then you got to do all those 3 rounds again to push overtime, and then you got to win your overtime, and then you got to go to Nighthaven Labs.
Damn.
So there's a bloody lot to go for Alpha Atheris. This is not a walk in the park. This is just about as hard as it will ever get.
Yep.
But you can't think about that. 1 round at a time. 1 foot in front of the other. It's the only way forwards.
That certainly is. And Alpha Atheris, they're going to go over to kids and dorms, but they have a very different strategy to what Wolves brought. Wolves, they completely closed themselves off in the bomb site. They were like, we're safe. We're comfy here. Is there a point in extending? Not really, but Alpha Atheris don't think the same. They've extended themselves all the way into attic and inside of closet, even a rotation hole being made there, and the pit walls open as well. So they are actually trying to contest Wolves a little bit earlier on in the entry as they make their way on in.
Wolves, slow and steady as they very commonly are. Kamikaze is still holding on to his position. It looks like, yeah, he actually hasn't lost his shield yet.
Here goes Kamikaze on his peak. Takes a little bit of damage, but is able to get away with his life. And Mowgli's going to have a re-attempt on the Rotero drone inside of Trophy. I can't believe it didn't kill it the first time, to be honest. But it has this time. It's going to force Alpha Atheris back in towards the bomb side. But they still have a rotation hole if they want to re-aggress into closet.
There's a lot of options still available for Alpha Atheris, but I think that with how they played so far, Mandy, I wouldn't recommend overthinking it and trying to overcomplicate this, because Wolves, they love in the mid round just sitting back and holding angles and waiting for the opponents to make a mistake.
They like having a think.
They do. And sometimes it's good to just chill out. You don't have to overthink. You can just wait patiently. Ivan, a bit of pressure thanks to that nade. The second one may come through, or perhaps some track stings to boot. And don't not go prone at the top of White Stairs. I tell you what, we have seen that pan out far too poorly for far many players too many times. Ivan, though, dueling quite a difficult position. Mowgli does find Kamikaze, but there is a trade from Toski. Numbers advantage maintained by Wolves.
Oh, but here goes P4 up the White Stairs and able to backstab into Toski. Can he claim the second? No, he can't. Jay is there for the trade to hold strong inside the bomb site, but it's all Jay now left to do in the 1 versus 3.
And he will fall eventually to Deadshot. Wolves, it took them a while, but a 7-1 is nothing to scoff at. The French will survive to fight another day in the Atlanta Major. It might have been a rough morning for them against Bliss, but they have well and truly redeemed themselves here against Alpha Atheris. And with that, Latin America, their hopes and dreams have been crushed. No more Latin American teams remain at the Major, and none will go to the 6th Invitational in 2024.
Great reset approach from Wolves as well. Off the back of the loss earlier in the day, they just hit the big red reset button and said, let's play the comfy game. Let's play a game that we know how to play, set the tempo. They knew that Alpha Atheris didn't know how to match up to that tempo. They kept all their strategies comfy and simple, and that's all that it took.
And with that, we've got fist pumps all around. I mean, it's great to see the camaraderie and the sportsmanship. Oh, Nil's giving everyone a hug. Lilun as well, coming through, talking to them. damn. This is just like, this is a gutting moment, right? Like, these players, this is their first time ever making it to a major, of course, with the exception of Kamikaze there in the middle. And it's so nice to see their reactions. Also, I gotta say, it's so brutal that you literally lose, you get eliminated from the tournament, and then they sit there and they're like packing up their keyboards and stuff. Like,
yeah, I know.
not a second to debrief, to think about it. No, just straight away, like, oh, get your mouse, get your keyboard, get your mouse pad, whatever.
It is brutal. It really is a cruel world here in phase 1 of the Blast Rainbow Six Atlanta major, and unfortunately for Alpha Atheris, they are going to be the final team that we are sending home today. And yeah, like you've been pointing out, that's Latin America gone. I think to circumstances at none of their fault. To be honest, it is quite difficult to amount all of your players here in time, and I think for Alpha Atheris, all they're going to look forward to is to that future, of course, to try and look for that improvement. Like you've been saying, no, they aren't going to make that showing at the 6 Invitational, but surely that can only spark a little bit more hope and a little bit more hard work going into 2024.
Very true, and I think Latin America have a lot of potential. We saw that with Revan and 6 Karma in Copenhagen, and just because of the weaknesses of what's happened with Latin America in Atlanta, I wouldn't discredit that region and what they're capable of doing in the long run and into next year, of course. But you know who will be going to the 6 Invitational? The Wolves! They have now qualified for SI. They're 100% guaranteed.